So if you're genuinely committed to playing college and professional level basketball, and you're actually doing everything you possibly can to get there, then there's a very good chance that all of that hard work that you're putting in right now is not only hurting you, but actually making you play worse. And I know that sounds like a crazy statement, but this is a lesson that I desperately wish I had learned earlier on in my career, and I will never forget the day that I finally learned it. So that day came the summer before my sophomore season, and that summer, for whatever reason, I came up with this pretty crazy ritual where I would get dropped off at the local university gym at 9 a.m. and I would get picked back up at 5 p.m. And aside from maybe a break for lunch halfway through the day, I was basically training that entire time. So 6 to 8 hours a day on the court. Now, at that point, I was pretty much stuck around 8 or 9 points per game, I believe. I was one of those players that would kind of wait for an open shot, and I would hit my 3 or 4 open spot-up jumpers during a game. But otherwise, I was, kind of quiet. I would fade into the background during games often where I was watching the game happen around me and watching other players take over while I was kind of passive and hesitant and, again, waiting for the game to come my way rather than dictating the flow of the game. And I knew that there was a lot more ability inside of me that I wasn't showing, but as soon as I stepped onto the floor in a real game, that ability seemed to disappear. And I was playing at it often felt like 40 or 50% of my real capacity. So that summer, my answer was just to simply train more. Let me train more. Let me train as much as I possibly can. And I'm just going to brute force this basketball dream of mine to happen. And so I started doing that, like I said, 9 to 5 every single day in the gym. And one day, I will never forget, there was a professional player who had played overseas in Italy, and he was home for the summer, and he was training in that same gym. And it always struck me that he would never train for nearly as long as I did. And one day, he finally came up to me and actually invited me to train with him. I think he just wanted, frankly, somebody to rebound for him that day. But I ended up training with him, and I did all the same drills. We played one-on-one at the end. He destroyed me. And that workout was, at the time, the hardest workout I have ever done in my entire life. I think it probably lasted 60, maybe 90 minutes. But at the end of that workout, I was like flat on my back on the floor. I could have fallen asleep right there. I was completely dead. He left, went home. And because of my ritual that I wanted to, maintain, I dragged myself up off the floor and kept on training until 5 p.m. that day when my parents came and picked me up. Now, just as I was leaving the gym that day, that professional player came back in the gym. I think he was going to lift weights or something like that. And he saw me there and he came back in, and I was feeling pretty proud of myself in that moment, right? I was thinking, oh, well, I've been here longer than you. What have you been doing all day? And instead of that, he came right up to me, and I will never forget what he said. He goes, "Stop wasting your time." Now, again, not what I was expecting. But when he said those words, I was really taken aback. And he essentially said to me, that's not how real pros train. That's just not how we train. We only train the way we're going to play in games. We only train the way we're going to play in games. And what he taught me essentially was that the way that you train is going to become the way that you play in games. So in the case where I was staying on the court all day long from 9 till 5, and essentially those workouts, because the workouts were so long, I was basically standing around shooting the entire time. I was doing exactly what I ended up doing in games, passively shooting open jump shots. Now, the workout with him was obviously completely different. It was all game situation moves, game shots, game intensity, very little rest. We were literally, it felt like playing a real game, that workout. And I could tell by the end of that why he was a professional. He literally trained himself exactly the way he wanted to play during a game. Now, this is so important to understand because after seeing over 1 million players come through our online training programs over the past 10 years, pretty much across the board, all of the most serious players are radically overtraining themselves, and not only overtraining, but training in a way that's making them worse. So the analogy that I'll offer to you is the way that I was training, where I was just basically maxing out the amount of time I would spend in the gym, was kind of like working for a boss without getting paid, right? A boss that is so domineering, it makes you show up every single day and put in these long, long hours, but says, I'm never going to pay you. And that's what basketball started to feel like for me. I was showing up to work every single day and I was not getting paid. And it was like my income never increased past that 8 or 9 points per game average, which, as you know, is not nearly enough to crack into college and professional basketball. So what I learned that summer, and the template that I later went on to use before I finally broke through and started averaging 24 points per game, got a college scholarship, played or went into college to play basketball. I'm going to give you that template now. And this is really, it should not be thought of as the only way to train. Okay. There are an infinite number of ways that you can set up your training, and there's nuances to it and there's more detail that we can go into, but I want to give you a simple template that you can follow and fall back on anytime you're confused and anytime you're in doubt about what your training should look like. This template will work for you, and it will work pretty much 100% of the time. Okay. So that template is this. Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, you're going to do a 60 to 90 minute skill workout, much like what I did with that professional player. So you're going to step on the floor and you are going to do everything that you do in games and that you'll need to do in games at game intensity with as many reps as possible for 60 to 90 minutes. Okay. It should literally feel like a game. You're doing all the stuff that you do in a game for as many reps as you possibly can. 60 to 90 minutes, okay? If you're going longer than that, then you're probably not going hard enough. At the end of that 60 to 90 minutes, I would recommend that you play 15 to 30 minutes of half-court basketball, okay? Not full court. We want half-court so that there's not as much load on your body. This means 1-on-1, 2-on-2, 3-on-3 against the best competition you can possibly find. So that's Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. In addition to that, on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, you're going to do 4 weight room workouts. So 2 upper body workouts and 2 lower body workouts. Upper body Monday and Thursday, lower body Tuesday and Friday. And there's a million programs out there. Some of them good, some of them not so good, but I'll leave it up to you to find the best upper-lower split for you. But now we have those 4 days per week. Again, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. We're going 2 a day with, game situation skill workout and lifting workout. On Wednesday, you're going to have a lighter day and you're going to come in and only do stationary work. So this is one of those exceptions to the rule where all we're going to do is sharpen up our skill set. We're not going to go game speed, but we're going to get a lot of rapid fire reps in. So we're not passively just lounging around on the court, lofting up jump shots. No, you're stepping on the floor and doing as many reps as you possibly can, but in a stationary way so that you're not loading your body. So this is one of those days where you could come in with a rebounder and get up, 2, 3, 4, 500 shots and do it in a fairly quick time. You can add a little bit of stationary ball handling work if you feel you need it, but make sure that you're not loading up your body, and definitely don't play on this day. Okay, so Wednesday's a lighter day. Saturday, you're going to come in and play full court 60 to 90 minutes, just like you would in a game against the best competition you can find. And then Sunday, you're going to take completely off. Okay? That's the template. I would strongly recommend, at least in the beginning, that you don't add anything else. Okay? 4 relatively intense game style skill workouts, 4 weight room workouts, and then on top of that, we have the Saturday scrimmage day and we have the Wednesday light shooting day. That's it. Only stick to that. In addition to that, I would strongly recommend, this is what we do with all of our Deep Game members, 20 minutes of mental training every day. So there are a number of ways to do that. We detail one of them, and the first way that you should start with in the Deep Game Masterclass, go to deepgame.com and take that masterclass if you haven't already, but 20 minutes of mandatory mental training per day. I believe in the masterclass, we actually recommend 10 minutes, but quite honestly, that's only because there's so many players taking the masterclass that I know most of them are not going to do 20, but as a player who's come this far in this video, I know you've got what it takes. So 20 minutes mandatory mental training per day. Basically, we're doubling the prescription in that masterclass. Now, there's a final secret I'd like to give to you, and it kind of ties all of this together, okay? And I'll start off with the way that Kobe presented this secret. And this is an exact quote from Kobe. So Kobe, who trained probably more than any human being alive, said, it's not how much you practice. It's not how much you practice, but how present your mind is while you practice. Okay, I'll say that one more time. It's not how much you practice, but how present your mind is while you practice. So, in other words, the way that you practice, as we know, will become the way that you play. And so every time you step on the court, whether it's a game style workout that we talked about on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, or even if it's your light workout on Wednesday when you're just getting up a lot of shots, follow the 8 laws of the deep game. Okay, follow the 8 laws of the deep game. This is one of those non-negotiable principles that we give to all of our players. Every single time you walk on the basketball court, follow the 8 laws of the deep game. And if you don't, and you break these 8 laws in training, you will break them in games and you will see immediate and dramatic decreases in every skill across the board. I promise you, okay? If you don't know the 8 laws of the deep game, I'm not going to go into them here because we have in so many videos, but go to deepgame.com and take the masterclass now. It will be the best hour that you have spent on your game. And I promise you, if you don't have these 8 laws and you're putting in all of this work on your skills and your athletic ability, that work is not going to pay off as well as it could. And if your goal is truly to play college and pro basketball, then you've got to be able to follow these 8 laws every time you step on the floor. Okay? So go to deepgame.com right now, take that masterclass, and I hope this is helpful for you. I know it's hard for a really seriously dedicated player like you, and I was the same way. It's really hard to learn how to take time off and to not train so much. And to, when you're not training, you're probably at home feeling guilty because you're not training. And this is like a public service announcement where you've got to let go of that guilt and follow the program. Okay. Follow the template. I promise you, as long as you don't start adding all of this extra stuff to it, you do, once again, your Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday game workout, your Wednesday light repetition shooting workout, and your Saturday scrimmage. And then you add those 20 minutes of mandatory mental training, which we'll cover in the masterclass. The results will come. I promise you. This is like the foolproof program. And I just forgot to mention the weight room workouts as well, the upper lower split, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. So all in all, you have this perfectly well-rounded program that will work for you as long as you follow the 8 laws every time you step on the floor. So I hope this clears something up for you. I hope this gives you permission to not go from morning till night like I was, because I promise you that will not pay off. And once again, go to deepgame.com if you'd like to take the masterclass now. I cannot wait to see you there.